As someone that has made their first six figures at 18, I can definitely tell you that it is possible, but I wasn't always like this, so let's take a step back to when I was just 6 years old. So when I was 6 years old, basically every single day of the summer, I'd run lemonade stands on the corner of my street, right? I'd be out there maybe like 6, 7, 8 hours a day and make like 40 bucks a day on average, I'd say, you know? And when I get those like $20 tips, like it really meant the world to me. Like I've always kind of loved creating stuff for myself since I was a little kid. So, you know, I never really liked listening to other people tell me what to do, like having to do homework that I was told to do. I absolutely hated it. I like doing stuff on my own, right? So that's where I really enjoyed those lemonade stands I made for years, you know? And jumping forward to when I was 14, one of my mom's friends introduced me to crypto. He basically told me that it was gonna make me rich, make me a lot of money, and I should get into it, right? So he told me to take everything that I had saved up, you know, which at the time was around $2 grand from all the lemonade stands. And he told me to invest it, and he told me what coins to buy. So what did I do? I did exactly that, right? This is when I was going into freshman year, right? This was 2019, late 2019 or early 2020. I forgot exactly when. But I remember one day, right? This was a couple months after I invested all that money, maybe a bit more. I remember one day I woke up and I was up $1 grand for the day. My portfolio was up like 40% for the day. I felt like I was on top of the world. $1 grand, what took me months to make with my lemonade stand, I made in a day, overnight. I didn't have to do anything either. And this is when I really started to realize, like, wow, I really am gonna make something out of this. I'm really gonna do this, you know? And this kind of carried along, you know, through the bull run. I remember my portfolio peaked around $14,000 or $15,000. And this is where I made my grave mistake. I basically never sold any of my crypto. And it went to zero. Not really, but it dropped like 85% down to like probably $3 grand. So I guess I was still up, but I basically watched 10 or 11 grand kind of just go. You know, that was mine, which at the time when I was early 15 or late 14, I forgot. That was a lot of money to me, guys. Like, I've never touched that much money before, you know. Most 14-year-olds haven't, I would say, right? And this made me depressed, guys. I kind of completely stopped thinking about crypto. I didn't want to think about it for a second, right? It made me really sad, and I kind of started doing what basically every other kid did. You know, at my age, sophomore year, you know, I just go out every single weekend, party, you know, drink, right? All this stuff, because I wasn't happy with myself. You know, every single weekend I go out, I go to a party, get hammered, I go home and low-key just sit and cry in my room. Like, you know, it's like kind of embarrassing to admit, but like, I'm always here to be truthful with you guys. I really was not happy with myself, right? I'd say I was depressed, but in reality, I was just not happy with my choices, and I was kind of using drinking to escape at the time, right? And this kind of carried on for around a year. And, you know, guys, I've always wanted to get rich. I always wanted to get the money. And at this point, like, I was starting to see all these, like, kids my age, because it was kind of the dropshipping era. You know, people were, like, posting up with, like, Lambos at around, like, my age, around, like, 18, 19. Well, I was, like, 16 at the time, but, you know, like, people were getting rich, and I was like, wow, this is what I want to do. Like, it's going to happen one day. But I obviously didn't take any action, guys. I was lazy, right? I remember I tried drop shipping for, like, 2 weeks, and I gave up. Like, I was lazy, right? And I kind of accepted that, like, you know what? We'll get that eventually, but for now, I'm just going to get, like, we're going to focus on getting a job. I want to become an orthodontist and get paid, like, $200,000 a year, you know? Like, that's enough for me. That's a lot of money, right? And, you know, I was in all AP classes. I was studying hard every single day. I was putting in a bunch of effort. I hated every single second of it. I genuinely hated everything about it. I was miserable, guys. I was miserable. And I remember eventually, you know, I finally decided to take action. This was, you know, I started an agency, and this was around, like, I think it was late 2022 or early 2023. This is when AI was kind of starting to pop out, and I started an AI automation agency. I basically create, like, chatbots for people, right? And I remember I got one client after like a month of cold calls, right? And I hated cold calls. I literally shake when I'm on the phone because I'm not good at that at all, you know? Cold emails, cold calls. I got one client, right? I think I got paid like $2 to $3 grand, right? And obviously it was a decent amount of money, but again, like, I hated it. I was putting in all this work for one client, so I kind of gave up on the agency. And this is when I started to fully, you know, kind of say like, hey, I've had some success with crypto, you know, obviously we're not going to have a bull run for another minute, but, you know, it's pretty similar to trading. Let's learn how to trade, right? And this is when I basically took everything, right? All the free time that I had. Literally, I locked myself in a room. I did not leave my house, guys. Every single weekend, instead of going out, instead of doing anything, I just studied trading. Literally 6 months straight, I did not leave my room. 8 hours a day. You know, I was putting in 100-hour weeks, right? And I was losing. I was putting in 100-hour weeks and losing money every single week. I'd blow a funded, right? I was chronically losing money. It was terrible. It was the lowest point I've been, guys. It was genuinely the lowest point I've been in my life. I would say, because I was putting in all this effort and yet I was losing money. And it wasn't because I really didn't know how to trade. My psychology, guys. My mentality was wrong. I'd overtrade. I'd gamble, you know. The complete opposite of what you should be doing. And I kind of took a step back, you know, to realize, like, wow, bro, like, do you really want to take this life for yourself, or do you just want to be like everyone else? And this was kind of around the time I started to like go to gutter cleaning business, roof cleaning business. And for that, I was doing a little bit of money with that, a couple grand a month. And when that started giving me some money as well, because like trading, like I basically went dead broke, like learning how to trade. And I started making a bit of money from that. And I kind of realized, like, all right, this is actually where you have to lock in. You know, I bought another funded, passed it, you know, my psychology was on lock, right? Got a payout, and it kind of made me realize, like, damn, this really is possible. Like, you know what I mean? And from there, I kind of completely locked in on trading. And trading started making more money than my gutter cleaning business was, so I fully committed to trading, right? And, you know, that was going into senior year, right? All of senior year, I traded at school, right? I skipped the mornings usually to trade, right? As much as I could. I had like 100 excuse absolutely, literally in senior year, right? 100 excuse days, like 400 periods. Like, I don't even know how they let me graduate. But yeah, I mean, the rest is history, I guess, right? And like right now, I just graduated like a month ago, right? Right now, I'm in Croatia right now for like a month, because obviously I can trade from wherever, you know, make my money from wherever. I just need a laptop, internet connection, I guess my phone. And in like 2 months, I should be moving into my, I guess, like dream apartment. And all this stuff is cool, but I really think the best part here is really that I decided to chase my dreams. Like, I know it sounds cliche, but I really am just making that little me proud, right? Where I was kind of sitting down watching those kids, you know, like get their Lambos, and I don't have a Lambo yet, but I know it's gonna happen, you know, in the future. You know, actually not a Lambo, I'm getting a Porsche, but it doesn't matter. You guys get the point. Like, listen, I'm not claiming to be super rich either. I know 6 figures, you know, low 6 figures isn't a lot of money, but I guess I am, like, I would say that, well, I'm not proud of where I am, you know, like I really wish I, you know, like I wouldn't say wish, but I do have higher goals for myself. But like looking back like a year ago, a bit more than a year ago, when I really had like no money to my name and I was kind of writing down my goals, and like that guy, you know, that guy back then would really be proud of myself, you know, like looking at now. So I guess I kind of have to accept that, you know, be happy for a second, but again, job is not finished, you know. And if you're watching this video and you got inspired, I'm glad. That's kind of why I'm making it, because I used to watch a lot of these type of videos when I was starting, and I kind of always say to myself, like, wow, like I would do anything to be in that position, you know, but like who knows if I'm ever gonna get there. And in reality, you're not that far off. If you're watching this, like, you're really close, honestly, like insanely close. It's really not hard to get here, but wow, okay, that's a lie. Like, it takes effort, but like it's possible, I promise you, you know. But yeah, guys, I hope you enjoyed this kind of raw video, and catch you.